4879-3.
Taxi to gate Bravo 6 Blue Sky 4870.
Line up and wait on 27 Blue Sky 7289er.
Right ground, TCL 6046 taxi to the gates. Right ground, TCL 6046 requesting taxi to the gates.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 Blue Sky 7289er.
Right tower, good morning. TCL 77902 is on final for 27. Taxi to gate Alpha 1 TCL 6046. Cleared to land on 27 TCL 77902.
Rocky clearance, good morning. TC Air 2105 ready for pushback at Alpha 4. Cleared for pushback TC Air 2105.
Right ground, TCL 77902 taxi to the gates.
Taxi to 27 TC Air 2105.
Rocky Tower, good morning. Blue Sky 2288 is on final for 27. Clear to land on 27 Blue Sky 2288.
Taxi to gate Alpha 4 TCL 77902.
Rocky clearance, good morning. Blue Sky 90571 ready for pushback at Bravo 5.
Line up and wait on 27 TC Air 2105.
Cleared for pushback Blue Sky 90571.
Rocky ground, Blue Sky 2288 taxi to the gates.
Taxi to 27 Blue Sky 90571.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 TC Air 2105. Rocky Tower, good morning. Blue Sky 90104 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 Blue Sky 90104.
Taxi to gate Bravo 5 Blue Sky 2288.
Rocky clearance, good morning. TC Air 1347 ready for pushback at Alpha 2. Cleared for pushback TC Air 1347.
Rocky ground, Blue Sky 90104 taxi to the gates.
Taxi to 27 TC Air 1347.
Taxi to gate Alpha 2 Blue Sky 90104.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 Blue Sky 90571. Cleared to land on 27 Blue Sky 1570.
Rocky Tower, TC Air 1347 ready for takeoff on 27. Line up and wait on 27 TC Air 1347.
Right clearance, good morning. TC Air 54903 ready for pushback at Bravo 7.
Rocky ground, Blue Sky 1570 taxi to the gates.
Cleared for pushback TC Air 54903.
Taxi to gate Bravo 2 Blue Sky 1570.
Rocky Tower, good morning. TC Air 5346 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 TC Air 5346.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 TC Air 1347.
Taxi to 27 TC Air 54903.
Rocky clearance, good morning. TC Air 3989 ready for pushback at Alpha 3. Cleared for pushback TC Air 3989. Rocky ground, TC Air 5346 taxi to the gates. Rocky ground, TC Air 3989 ready to taxi.
Cleared to land on 27 TC Air 34902.
Taxi to 27 TC Air 3989.
Rocky Tower, TC Air 54903 ready for takeoff on 27.
Taxi to gate Bravo 7 TC Air 5346.
Rocky clearance, good morning. TC Air 8605 ready for pushback at Bravo 1.
Line up and wait on 27 TC Air 54903.
Rocky Tower, TC Air 3989 ready for takeoff on 27.
Taxi to gate Alpha 3 TC Air 34902. Rocky Tower good morning, TC Air 8988 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 TC Air 8988.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 TC Air 5493.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 TC Air 3989.
Taxi to 27 TC Air 8605.
Cleared for pushback Blue Sky 4871. Rocky ground, Blue Sky 4871 ready to taxi. Rocky ground, TC Air 8988 taxi to the gates. Taxi to 27 Blue Sky 4871.
Rocky Tower good morning, Blue Sky 4604 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 Blue Sky 4604.
Rocky clearance good morning. TC Air 6047 ready for pushback at Alpha 1.
Taxi to gate Bravo 6 TC Air 8988.
Rocky Tower, TC Air 8605 ready for takeoff on 27. Line up and wait on 27 TC Air 8605.
Rocky ground, Blue Sky 4604 taxi to the gates.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 TC Air 8605.
Rocky Tower good morning, Blue Sky 6870 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 Blue Sky 6870.
Rocky ground, TC Air 6047 ready to taxi.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 Blue Sky 4871.
Taxi to gate Bravo 1 Blue Sky 4604.
Taxi to 27 TC Air 6047.
Rocky ground, Blue Sky 6870 taxi to the gates.
Rocky Tower, TC Air 6047 ready for takeoff on 27.
Taxi to gate Alpha 1 Blue Sky 6870.
Cleared to land on 27 Blue Sky 7046.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 TC Air 6047. Cleared for pushback TC Air 77903. Rocky ground, TC Air 77903 ready to taxi. Taxi to 27 TC Air 77903.
Rocky ground, Blue Sky 7046 taxi to the gates. Rocky clearance good morning, Blue Sky 9105 ready for pushback at Alpha 2. Cleared to land on 27 Blue Sky 27902.
Rocky clearance good morning, Blue Sky 2289 ready for pushback at Bravo 5.
Cleared for pushback Blue Sky 9105.
Rocky Tower, TC Air 77903 ready for takeoff on 27.
Taxi to gate Alpha 4 Blue Sky 7046.
Taxi to 27 Blue Sky 2289.
Taxi to 27 Blue Sky 9105.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 TC Air 77903.
Cleared to land on 27 TC Air 9288.
Taxi to gate Alpha 2 Blue Sky 27902. Rocky Tower, Blue Sky 9105 ready for takeoff on 27. Line up and wait on 27 Blue Sky 9105.
Rocky Tower, Blue Sky 2289 ready for takeoff on 27.
Rocky ground, TC Air 9288 taxi to the gates.
Rocky clearance good morning, Blue Sky 1571 ready for pushback at Bravo 2.
Cleared to land on 27 Blue Sky 1104. Cleared for takeoff on 27 Blue Sky 90105.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 Blue Sky 2289er.
Taxi to gate Bravo 5 TC Air 90288.
Cleared for pushback Blue Sky 1571. Taxi to 27 Blue Sky 1571.
Rocky ground, Blue Sky 1104 taxi to the gates. Rocky ground, Blue Sky 1104 requesting taxi to the gates.
Rocky Tower good evening, TC Air 5570 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 TC Air 5570.
Taxi to gate Bravo 2 Blue Sky 1104.
Cleared for pushback TC Air 5347.
Cleared for pushback TC Air 3493.
Taxi to 27 TC Air 5347.
Rocky Tower, Blue Sky 1571 ready for takeoff on 27.
Rocky ground, TC Air 5570 requesting taxi to the gates.
Rocky Tower good evening. Blue Sky 3346 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 Blue Sky 3346.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 Blue Sky 1571.
Taxi to 27 TC Air 3493. Taxi to gate Alpha 3 TC Air 5570. Line up and wait on 27 TC Air 3493.
Rocky ground, Blue Sky 3346 taxi to the gates.
Line up and wait on 27 TC Air 5347.
Rocky Tower good evening, TC Air 8492 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 TC Air 8492.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 TC Air 3493.
Taxi to gate Bravo 7 Blue Sky 3346.
Cleared for pushback TC Air 8989.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 TC Air 5347.
Taxi to 27 Blue Sky 4605.
Taxi to 27 TC Air 8989. Rocky Tower good evening, TC Air 4988 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 TC Air 4988.
Rocky ground, TC Air 8492 taxi to the gates. Taxi to gate Bravo 1 TC Air 8492.
Rocky Tower, Blue Sky 4605 ready for takeoff on 27. Line up and wait on 27 Blue Sky 4605.
Rocky ground, TC Air 4988 taxi to the gates.
Cleared to land on 27 Blue Sky 6604.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 Blue Sky 4605.
Rocky Tower, TC Air 8989 ready for takeoff on 27. Taxi to gate Bravo 6 TC Air 4988.
Cleared for pushback Blue Sky 6871.
Line up and wait on 27 TC Air 8989.
Rocky clearance good evening, Blue Sky 7047 ready for pushback at Alpha 4.
Rocky Tower good evening, Blue Sky 7870 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 Blue Sky 7870.
Taxi to 27 Blue Sky 6871.
Rocky ground, Blue Sky 6604 requesting taxi to the gates.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 TC Air 8989.
Taxi to 27 Blue Sky 7047.
Taxi to gate Alpha 1 Blue Sky 6604.
Line up and wait on 27 Blue Sky 6871.
Rocky Tower good evening, TC Air 2046 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 TC Air 2046.
Rocky clearance good evening, Blue Sky 279 ready for pushback at Alpha 2.
Taxi to gate Alpha 4 Blue Sky 7870.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 Blue Sky 6871.
Line up and wait on 27 Blue Sky 7047. Taxi to 27 Blue Sky 27903. Rocky Tower, good evening. Blue Sky 97902 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 Blue Sky 97902.
Taxi to gate Bravo 4 TC Air 2046.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 Blue Sky 7047.
Cleared for pushback TC Air 90289er.
Line up and wait on 27 Blue Sky 27903.
Rocky ground, TC Air 90289er ready to taxi.
Rocky Tower, good evening. TC Air 1288 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 TC Air 1288.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 Blue Sky 27903.
Taxi to 27 TC Air 90289er.
Taxi to gate Bravo 3 Blue Sky 97902.
Rocky ground, TC Air 1288 taxi to the gates. Rocky Tower, good evening. TC Air 5104 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 TC Air 5104.
Rocky Tower, TC Air 90289er ready for takeoff on 27.
Taxi to gate Alpha 2 TC Air 1288.
Rocky clearance, good evening. TC Air 5571 ready for pushback at Alpha 3.
Line up and wait on 27 TC Air 90289er.
Rocky Tower, good evening. TC Air 3570 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 TC Air 3570.
Taxi to 27 Blue Sky 1105.
Taxi to 27 TC Air 5571.
Rocky ground, TC Air 5104 requesting taxi to the gates.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 TC Air 90289er.
Taxi to gate Bravo 5 TC Air 5104.
Rocky Tower, good evening. Blue Sky 8346 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 Blue Sky 8346.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 TC Air 5571.
Rocky ground, TC Air 3570 taxi to the gates.
Cleared for pushback Blue Sky 3347.
Line up and wait on 27 Blue Sky 1105.
Taxi to gate Bravo 2 TC Air 3570.
Cleared to land on 27 TC Air 44902.
Taxi to 27 Blue Sky 3347.
Rocky ground, Blue Sky 8346 taxi to the gates.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 Blue Sky 1105.
Rocky clearance, good evening. TC Air 8493 ready for pushback at Bravo 1. Taxi to gate Bravo 7 Blue Sky 8346. Cleared for pushback TC Air 8493.
Rocky Tower, good evening. TC Air 6988 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 TC Air 6988.
Rocky ground, TC Air 44902 taxi to the gates.
Taxi to 27 TC Air 8493.
Line up and wait on 27 Blue Sky 3347.
Taxi to gate Alpha 3 TC Air 44902.
Rocky Tower, good evening. Blue Sky 7604 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 Blue Sky 7604.
Rocky ground, TC Air 6988 taxi to the gates.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 Blue Sky 3347.
Rocky Tower, TC Air 8493 ready for takeoff on 27.
Cleared for pushback TC Air 4989er.
Line up and wait on 27 TC Air 8493.
Cleared to land on 27 Blue Sky 2870.
Taxi to gate Bravo 1 TC Air 6988.
Taxi to 27 TC Air 4989er.
Rocky ground, blue sky 7604 taxi to the gates.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 TC Air 84903.
Rocky ground, blue sky 6605 ready to taxi.
Rocky Tower good evening, blue sky 9046 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 blue sky 9046. Taxi to gate Alpha 1 blue sky 7604.
Cleared for pushback blue sky 7871.
Rocky tower, blue sky 6605 ready for takeoff on 27.
Rocky ground, blue sky 2870 requesting taxi to the gates.
Rocky Tower good evening, blue sky 1792 is on final for 27.
Taxi to 27 TC Air 2047.
Cleared to land on 27 blue sky 1792.
Taxi to 27 blue sky 7871.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 blue sky 6605.
Line up and wait on 27 TC Air 4989.
Taxi to gate Bravo 6 blue sky 9046.
Taxi to gate Alpha 4 blue sky 2870.
Rocky Tower, blue sky 7871 ready for takeoff on 27.
Rocky ground, blue sky 17902 taxi to the gates.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 TC Air 4989.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 blue sky 7871.
Line up and wait on 27 TC Air 2047.
Rocky Tower good evening, blue sky 5288 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 blue sky 5288. Taxi to gate Bravo 4 blue sky 17902. Cleared for pushback blue sky 97903.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 TC Air 2047.
Taxi to 27 TC Air 1289er.
Taxi to 27 blue sky 97903. Rocky ground, blue sky 5288 taxi to the gates.
Cleared to land on 27 TC Air 3104.
Taxi to gate Alpha 2 blue sky 5288.
Rocky Tower, TC Air 1289er ready for takeoff on 27. Line up and wait on 27 TC Air 1289er.
Rocky Tower good evening, TC Air 8570 is on final for 27.
Rocky ground, TC Air 3104 taxi to the gates.
Cleared to land on 27 TC Air 8570.
Rocky clearance good evening, TC Air 3571 ready for pushback at Bravo 2.
Line up and wait on 27 blue sky 97903.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 TC Air 1289er. Rocky Tower good evening, TC Air 4346 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 TC Air 4346. Taxi to gate Bravo 3 TC Air 3104.
Taxi to 27 TC Air 5105. Taxi to 27 TC Air 3571.
Rocky Tower good evening, blue sky 6492 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 blue sky 6492. Taxi to gate Bravo 2 TC Air 8570. Cleared for takeoff on 27 blue sky 97903. Taxi to 27 blue sky 8347.
Rocky ground, TC Air 4346 requesting taxi to the gates.
Rocky Tower good evening, TC Air 7988 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 TC Air 7988.
Taxi to 27 TC Air 4493.
Rocky Tower, TC Air 3571 ready for takeoff on 27.
Taxi to gate Bravo 7 blue sky 6492.
Taxi to gate Alpha 3 TC Air 4346.
Rocky Tower good evening, blue sky 2604 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 Blue Sky 2604.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 TC Air 3571.
Rocky Tower, TC Air 5105 ready for takeoff on 27. Rocky Ground, TC Air 6989 ready to taxi.
Rocky Ground, TC Air 7988 requesting taxi to the gates.
Rocky Tower, good evening. TC Air 90870 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 TC Air 90870.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 TC Air 5105. Taxi to 27 TC Air 6989.
Line up and wait on 27 TC Air 44903.
Cleared for pushback Blue Sky 7605.
Taxi to gate Bravo 5 Blue Sky 2604.
Taxi to gate Bravo 1 TC Air 7988. Line up and wait on 27 Blue Sky 8347.
Rocky Tower, good evening. Blue Sky 1046 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 Blue Sky 1046.
Taxi to gate Alpha 1 TC Air 90870.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 TC Air 44903.
Taxi to 27 Blue Sky 7605.
Line up and wait on 27 TC Air 6989.
Rocky Tower, good evening. Blue Sky 5792 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 Blue Sky 5792.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 Blue Sky 8347.
Taxi to 27 Blue Sky 2871.
Taxi to 27 Blue Sky 9047. Line up and wait on 27 Blue Sky 7605.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 TC Air 6989.
Rocky Ground, Blue Sky 1046 requesting taxi to the gates.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 Blue Sky 7605.
Clear to land on 27 Blue Sky 3288.
Taxi to gate Bravo 6 Blue Sky 5792.
Taxi to gate Alpha 4 Blue Sky 1046.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 Blue Sky 2871.
Rocky clearance, good evening. Blue Sky 1793 ready for pushback at Bravo 4. Line up and wait on 27 Blue Sky 9047. Cleared for pushback Blue Sky 1793. Cleared for takeoff on 27 Blue Sky 9047. Taxi to 27 Blue Sky 1793.
Rocky Tower, good evening. TC Air 8104 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 TC Air 8104.
Rocky Ground, Blue Sky 3288 taxi to the gates.
Taxi to 27 Blue Sky 5289.
Taxi to gate Alpha 2 Blue Sky 3288.
Rocky clearance, good evening. TC Air 8571 ready for pushback at Bravo 2.
Rocky Tower, good evening. TC Air 4570 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 TC Air 4570. Rocky Tower, Blue Sky 5289 are ready for takeoff on 27.
Taxi to 27 TC Air 8571.
Rocky Ground, TC Air 8104 taxi to the gates.
Rocky Tower, good evening. TC Air 6346 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 TC Air 6346.
Rocky clearance, good evening. TC Air 3105 ready for pushback at Bravo 3.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 Blue Sky 5289.
Taxi to gate Bravo 4 TC Air 8104.
Line up and wait on 27 Blue Sky 1793.
Rocky Tower, good evening. TC Air 7492 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 TC Air 7492.
Taxi to gate Bravo 2 TC Air 4570.
Taxi to 27 TCR 3105.
Rocky Tower, TC Air 8571 ready for takeoff on 27.
Rocky Ground, TC Air 4347 ready to taxi.
Rocky Tower good evening, TC Air 2988 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 TC Air 2988.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 Blue Sky 17903. Taxi to 27 Blue Sky 64903.
Taxi to Gate Alpha 3 TC Air 6346.
Rocky Tower, TC Air 4347 ready for takeoff on 27.
Rocky Tower good evening, Blue Sky 90604 is on final for 27.
Rocky Ground, TC Air 74902 requesting taxi to the gates.
Cleared to land on 27 Blue Sky 90604.
Taxi to 27 TC Air 7989.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 TC Air 8571.
Taxi to 27 Blue Sky 2605.
Rocky Tower good evening, TC Air 1870 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 TC Air 1870.
Rocky Ground, TC Air 2988 taxi to the gates.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 TC Air 4347.
Rocky Ground, Blue Sky 90604 taxi to the gates.
Line up and wait on 27 TC Air 3105.
Rocky Tower good evening, TC Air 5046 is on final for 27. Clear to land on 27 TC Air 5046.
Taxi to Gate Bravo 7 TC Air 74902.
Taxi to Gate Bravo 5 TC Air 2988. Taxi to Gate Bravo 3 Blue Sky 90604.
Taxi to Gate Bravo 1 TC Air 1870. Rocky Tower good evening, Blue Sky 37902 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 Blue Sky 37902.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 Blue Sky 64903.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 TC Air 3105.
Taxi to 27 TC Air 90871.
Line up and wait on 27 TC Air 7989.
Rocky Tower good evening, TC Air 8288 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 TC Air 8288. Taxi to Gate Alpha 1 TC Air 5046.
Taxi to 27 Blue Sky 1047.
Rocky Tower, Blue Sky 2605 ready for takeoff on 27.
Cleared for pushback Blue Sky 57903.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 TC Air 7989.
Cleared to land on 27 Blue Sky 4104.
Rocky Ground, Blue Sky 37902 requesting taxi to the gates.
Cleared for pushback Blue Sky 3289.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 Blue Sky 2605.
Taxi to 27 Blue Sky 57903.
Rocky Tower, TC Air 90871 ready for takeoff on 27.
Rocky Ground, TC Air 8288 requesting taxi to the gates.
Taxi to Gate Alpha 4 Blue Sky 37902.
Taxi to 27 Blue Sky 3289.
Taxi to Gate Bravo 6 Blue Sky 4104.
Rocky Tower good evening, Blue Sky 6570 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 Blue Sky 6570.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 TC Air 90871.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 Blue Sky 1047.
Taxi to Gate Alpha 2 TC Air 8288. Rocky Tower good evening, Blue Sky 7346 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 Blue Sky 7346. Cleared for takeoff on 27 Blue Sky 3289er.
Taxi to 27 TC Air 4571.
Taxi to 27 TC Air 8105.
Rocky ground, Blue Sky 6570 requesting taxi to the gates.
Rocky Tower good evening. Blue Sky 24902 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 Blue Sky 24902.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 Blue Sky 579er3.
Cleared for pushback TC Air 6347.
Taxi to gate Bravo 4 Blue Sky 6570.
Taxi to gate Bravo 2 Blue Sky 7346.
Rocky Tower good evening. Blue Sky 9er 88 is on final for 27.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 TC Air 4571.
Cleared to land on 27 Blue Sky 9er 88.
Taxi to 27 TC Air 6347.
Rocky Tower, TC Air 8105 ready for takeoff on 27.
Taxi to gate Alpha 3 Blue Sky 24902.
Rocky clearance good evening. TC Air 749er3 ready for pushback at Bravo 7.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 TC Air 8105.
Rocky Tower good evening. Blue Sky 1604 is on final for 27. Cleared to land on 27 Blue Sky 1604.
Cleared for takeoff on 27 TC Air 6347.
Rocky ground, Blue Sky 9er 88 requesting taxi to the gates.
Taxi to 27 TC Air 749er3.
Cleared for pushback TC Air 29er 89er.